Hi friends, it's Misty. I'm totally sorry that we forgot to go over the formative. It wasn't that I forgot, it was that we ran over time, and it was important to get through the workbook. So here's a short video clip on what your formative is. And I've also postponed the deadline for this assignment to Monday, so you have a little bit more time. This formative can be found in Google Classroom. You can click the upcoming assignments, or you can go to our Classwork tab. Under our kinematics unit, you'll click that formative graphing motion. When you get here, you'll see three documents: the overview of the formative, where you'll place your student response, and an ERC, or evidence reasoning claim / conclusion, graphic organizer if you feel like you want some additional scaffolding. This is not required. You can print it out if you want, or come grab one in my room, or nix it. So once you get to the formative page, you'll notice that we are asking the question, how can we describe how moving man moves? This is very similar to what you've already done in class. Your prompt is to generate a position, velocity, and acceleration versus time graph from our PhET simulation. You'll use the data as evidence to answer our question. Success will be measured by your ability to show collected data, expand upon the PV&A graph, and interpret the relationship between your variables. So what does this mean for you? This means that you will go to the PhET simulation, you'll select a motion for moving man, you'll generate PV&A graphs. You can copy and paste those graphs right into your student response document, and then you'll explain them. One parameter is required. Choose a motion for moving man that is a non-zero acceleration. So your moving man will need to accelerate. That is, speed up, slow down, or change direction somewhere in your simulation. And try to avoid the moving man hitting the wall. That tends to generate some unexpected data that can just busy your results. So how do I get proficient on this? You've already done this in class. You will upload the picture of your PV&A graph. If you don't want to copy and paste it, you can sketch the graph by hand and upload it to your document. Then you'll tell the story in words, just like you've done in our whole group shareouts. Describe how the change in position happens. Describe the velocity. Describe the acceleration. And then you'll interpret your graph. So you might talk about, how is your variable changing with respect to time? What does the sign of your variable represent? What does the size of the variable represent? What's the y-intercept mean on your graphs? What might the slope represent? This should feel nourishing and straightforward. This is not to add something new. I want this formative to feel clear and very consistent with what you've done in class. If you're having any trouble at all understanding what proficient looks like, please reach out, make a comment in Google Classroom. I'm happy to answer your questions. Distinguished options. I have a couple down here. There's not to say there aren't others. You might, for a distinguished option, include an algebraic interpretation. Can you derive an equation from your velocity graph? Can you justify it? Can you incorporate relevant vocab to make sense of your slope or your y-intercept? Another way to show distinguished, you can choose one of these, you don't need to do both, is to predict how a change in moving man's velocity or acceleration might be reflected in your position graph. So those are a couple ideas. If you have another one, feel free to propose it to me, and if it meets our distinguish, I'll add it there. Here's our scoring criteria down below. This is what I'm looking for: that you identify evidence, that you construct a reasoning, and that you develop a claim. I'll probably focus on evidence and reasoning, just because that's what we've been working on in class. And you'll notice distinguished isn't on here because our distinguished criteria are unique to the task, and they are listed on this. So what will you do when you're ready to start typing? You'll go to student response. Here's your blank document. You'll enter your response here. You might include pictures, words, paragraphs, a table of values, anything you want for your explanation, and then leave this here. This is where I'll give you feedback. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely afternoon, and I'll see you in class. Bye!